When I went to the Mortal Kombat 11 reveal, I spent a lot of time with Geras. Geras is the character that I'm definitely most interested in. And no surprise, right? He's a grappler type guy. He's the big fella. He is not just grappling though, as I'll show you. He's also some other cool stuff. Really funky ideas about how to use time, and I like that. I like a character who's not just a grappler but also a weirdo. Those are my favorites. I think probably just in general. So what I did is I went through and looked at what most of his moves do. Unfortunately, part of the footage that I took didn't come out. It was kind of corrupted. That's a big bummer. So I can't show you some of what I did, but I'm going to describe it. I know that's not as good, but I'll just talk about it. I will, though, be showing some other cool stuff. So just at the start, I went through his abilities, and Quicksand is a move that puts him under the ground, and then he teleports behind the opponent, and he hits him. And it seems cool. You know, it definitely seems like it's useful. It might be the case that Geras it has a hard time versus projectile characters. He's not terribly mobile. That seems like most characters in the game, but he doesn't really have... he has some good footsie buttons, but not like a ranged character, really. So the ability to get around that stuff could be helpful. I can definitely see that being nice. Gauntlet of the Ages, I'm not sure how important that is. It's like a better version of his typical straight punch, which he always has. Just a special move that seems useful for, making strings safe-ish at least, and maybe hit confirming into combos. Not really sure what his combo routes are, but could be. And this is a better version of that. Extra damage, I don't know how important that is compared to some of these other tools. Bed of Spikes is not my cup of tea. It replaces his command grab with a hit, and then he gets some nice juggles out of the hit. You definitely do more damage if you find that. That's cool. That might be useful. I mean, I have no opinion yet, just having not found any cool combos or anything like that yet, or good hit confirms necessarily. But I mean, I'm not going to be doing it. I don't care how good it is. Shifting Sands is a kind of like New 13's Gravity Well in BlazBlue, BB Tag, if you've seen those. If not, just think of it so like it's quicksand, I guess you might say. He puts it out onto the floor, and then it hampers the opponent's movement. And I don't mean just like in the sense of like a Caltrops made it so people couldn't run. It sucks them into the middle of the sands. So if they're trying to walk backwards, but the sand is in range, it'll suck them forwards. If they're trying to walk forwards, but the sand is in range, it'll suck them backwards, including hampering their jump movement too. I don't know how useful it is. It's a cool idea, and it might be handy for some timer scams or something. I got a little bit of footage of it. I'll show it to you later. But we'll see. I'm not convinced about that one yet. Lost Time and Spare Time is the one that allows you to add 30 seconds to the clock or subtract 30 seconds from the clock. Obviously a powerful idea. They think that it's powerful too. It has 2 gear slots that it takes up. And I'll show it more later. I did find some kind of silly timer scams with it. But if you subtract time off the clock, what you end up with is never less than 9 seconds. So, you don't instantly win a round. There's always a little bit of a chance for somebody to come back. But yeah, obviously a strong mechanic for sure. This was one of my favorites, and unfortunately my footage didn't come out. So I'm sorry, that's a big bummer for sure. But what San Simulacrum does is it puts a clone of himself out. He can put it out a little bit behind him, mid-range. He can put it out really far away. And then for this pretty long window of time, you have the option to teleport to that location or to explode it. So as I was saying, Geras might have some trouble with zoning, but this seems like an excellent way to deal with that. Either, if you put it out near where the opponent is, they are not going to have an easy time of zoning. You can react to somebody throwing a fireball if your thing is near by either exploding it or by teleporting to it. So I feel like that has a ton of uses. I also found cool situations where if you have it out, you find a combo, you can combo into the explosion part for a super high knockup, which is rare in this game, and then you get a nice juggle out of it. So again, sucks that the footage didn't come out of that, but I think there's a lot of tools, and the fact that it's a 1 slot special move, I think probably makes it pretty important, or at least could be pretty important for Geras' toolset. I'm not so sure about Reawakened. It allows him to come back to life if you activate it within some certain window before you actually lose the round. I don't know what that window is. I didn't actually try this. It just doesn't sound that great to me. If it were 1 slot rather than 2, I don't know. There's so many good tools here, and I'm not sure that something like coming back to life at the end of a round is important enough when you could have had good tools the entire round instead. Reverse time, I'm really interested in. I'm not sure if 3 slots is something that I can really give up to use it, but I'll show it later. It's extremely powerful. You rewind Geras' clock 4 seconds. So that is to say, you're not taking time off the actual game clock, but wherever he was 4 seconds ago, you're going back there, both in location and also in life. And you can do it at any time, unless you're knocked down. And you can do it during hit stun if somebody's comboing you. I mean, there's a ton of different applications for it. Like I said, I'll show it to you in a little bit. Stepping it back, unfortunately my footage didn't come out for this either. That's really disappointing. It's a really interesting tool. So what it does is it allows you to cancel the first hit of a string. So not like second hit of the string, not deep into the string, but the first hit, whatever you start with, into, well, you just cancel it. Basically, you go back to where it was when you started. So if you do something like his forward one, which is really far range, and then you do this, you can do it at any point, whiff canceling, cancel on block, cancel on hit, whatever. You go back to where you were at the start of the forward one. Now, cool applications. Again, unfortunately, I recorded this, but couldn't show it now. You can do forward one, expect a whiff punish, cancel back, look for the opponent to have tried to whiff punish, and then you whiff punish them. So I really like that idea. There's also cool ideas when it comes to pressure. You can, for example, cancel his standing 4, which has a lot of hit and block stun, into it, and you can link out of that if you hit, and if not, you get more pressure. So really, really, really cool idea. It is 2 slots, but I like that a lot. Man, I wish that footage had survived. And then you go to Sand Pillar, which is the last one that's listed here. And it's kind of like from the deep. It's not as fast as something like that, but it is pretty good. And as I've mentioned, it might be the case that Geras is not great against projectile characters. His default moveset includes kind of like an atrocitus puddle, but you have to aim it. This one you also have to aim. Is it great? I don't know, but it might be helpful in, I don't know, anti-zoning. It's not zoning really, but anti-zoning? We'll see. So I took some footage of the actual in-game action as well, and I'll show some of the cool things that I found. What I first want to do though is just show you the intros, which I think are pretty neat. Pretty cool looking. They didn't have just a regular training mode, so this is me setting it to CPU. Sometimes if I wanted to test more or other stuff, I turned it on to P2. Look at this. That is the actual characters. Every time there's a different set of characters, they show up there. I think that's pretty cool looking. Anyway, the reason that I didn't put it on 2-player in this instance was that... oh, one second. Listen to this.
Do you know Lin Kuei history?
I have studied it for millennia.
Then you know you can't win.
Round 1.
Right?
Fight!
So I wanted to try getting hit. Like, I wanted to play against some character who would hit me. Because I wanted to try this reverse time thing. I was talking about it before. It makes it so that Geras goes back in time 4 seconds to wherever he was. Again, in location or in life. And you can do it while you're being comboed. You cannot do it, though, once you've been knocked down. And what I was told, and it seemed, because a bunch of this I'm trying. You see what I'm blocking there? The input is actually, I think, down back block, if I recall correctly. So sometimes I'm blocking, I'm trying to do it. I want him to hit me. Perfect timing. That was it right there. Since I was walking forward for so long, it just set me back in front of him walking. Right? So, like, it's not that super interesting in that case. But like I was saying, you cannot do it after getting knocked down for 4 more seconds. So you need to have 4 seconds in sort of the game's memory where you are walking around, where you're up, where you're not knocked down, in order to use it. So that is to say, you can't use it at the start of the match because until 4 seconds have elapsed, and then whenever you get knocked down, you have to wait another 4 seconds before you can do it again. So there you go. There you go. Look at that. Look at that movement. So, there's a lot of things that you can think about how to use that. You could, if he had been zoning me there, and I remembered that 4 seconds ago I was where he's now trying to zone me, or behind it, I could go back, I could go back to that spot behind him and take him out. You have to keep a log in your memory that I don't know how practical it is, but it's a really, really cool idea. Here's the moveset, yeah. Oh no, it was down back 4. It was down back 4, right? Well, we'll see. I'm literally about to. Oh no, okay. This is me looking at strings. So his strings seem, I don't know. Okay, he has some ranged ones. He has his forward 2-1-2 is maybe the most important pressure / combo string that I found. 1-1-1 1+3. That was 1-1-1. 1+3. Throw at the end. That seems fine, but you know you got to be pretty close to make that happen. His forward one is I'm trying to do. Sub-Zero will let me do it. Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. So forward 1+3 is the throw, and then 4 is the kick afterward. Right. So I was in hit stun. Did you see that? Yes. That's so sick. You're in hit stun. You can do it anyway. That string seems pretty good. You can also, I think I showed here, yeah, you can juggle out of that. So that seems pretty useful. But again, he's definitely a character who wants to be up close. He's not like a footsies monster character. That's forward 2-1-2, which definitely lets you do cool stuff in the corner. That was forward 2-2. Now that is really a cool move. It's a mid-low, but the low comes out even on whiff, and it has about a half screen range. I'm not sure if I showed it again, but I hope so, because it's pretty sick. Yeah, did you see he tried to axe me, but I wasn't there, even though I was there as invincible? Man, that reverse time thing is so cool. What a cool idea. So, whatever. I don't care about that. So I started to think about what some cool applications of this reverse time thing could be. You know, like I was saying, maybe getting around zoning, moving, something like that. Could also be that it's helpful if you get hit, right? So maybe you take a risk. Maybe you go for a command grab mix up or whatever it is. Maybe you miss an anti-air, right? The opponent's jumped in and is hitting you. Then you do reverse time, and you're out of there. Again, you're invincible while that's happening. As far as I can tell, because that happened a couple times, and I never got hit. So yeah, I'm basically trying to get hit. I don't want to play a normal match. I want to get hit and see what I can do. You know what I mean? Like with this cool reverse time mechanic. It's just a super easy CPU, so there's not gonna be a whole lot about it. There it is. Yeah, that's cool, right? So again, you're on the ground, you're in the air. If you're in hit stun, the only time you cannot use it is that, first of all, as you can see on the left, it takes 2 of your defensive stamina bars, so it's quite expensive in that sense, which kind of makes sense. The other restriction is just that you need to have 4 seconds in the game's memory where you haven't been knocked down. Or 4 seconds where you've been playing in neutral, standing up. So again, you can't use it immediately when the round starts. You have to wait for 4 seconds because the game doesn't yet have 4 seconds in its memory. So, I think that's cool. This is his command grab. Do you see the corner carry on this guy? You can hold it. That was not the hold version. That was just letting it go. But yeah, it's really far. And it's just back forward too. So right now I'm trying to look for some ticks into it. I'm hoping the opponent's gonna block rather, but he never did. So. Back forward too. So you don't have to go for some annoying down, back, forward, whatever, forward, down, back, forward motion anymore. Pretty handy.
Geras.
So I wanted to try some other stuff out, but I figured I should, show another character while I'm doing it. So I picked up Baraka. But it turned out as Baraka. And he seems kind of cool. So this is I think this is the command grab version that he has. He has this huge back 2 overhead. I mean, it's half screen. It might be 60% screen. It's crazy far and safe as far as I can tell. So, wow. But he also has a command grab. One sec.
I'll cut you down, Geras.
Be assured I will rise again.
Then I'll dice you to smaller pieces.
Round 1.
Well, that doesn't seem very effective. So he has a command grab. But it's a high, so you can duck it. It's just, you have to be so aware of that back 2 overhead at all times that I feel like the default is going to be to try to stand block in general. So I started that round by doing Yeah, there it is. So you see him trying to move. Well, that actually just walked right out of it. But yeah, you see him get sucked into it. Yes, he got sucked into it. And even on knockdown, you know what? I didn't notice that at the time. But even while he was knocked down, he was getting sucked into the middle of it. Very interesting. So maybe there is more application than I had thought. That was pretty cool. So I just fast forwarded a bunch because the only reason that I wanted to do this here was to see how his timer scam works. The what was it called? Take time? Something like that. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, lost time and spare time. So lost time, down back 4. From 27 seconds to 9 seconds. Now I noticed that there was no way to get it to go below 9 seconds when you switch to it. So you're not going from like 30 seconds to round over. It's never less than 9 seconds. And that's true if you start it when it's at 39 seconds or at 10 seconds. In fact, if you started at 5 seconds, then it doesn't do anything. It doesn't limit the time at all. So it's not a free win. You don't literally just close the round out instantly. But that said, you can definitely think of instances where it could be pretty useful. But it is 2 gear slots. Again, it's not free. All right, I'm gonna speed this up. So I'm gonna do it here, just to see. I just wanted to know what happened, and just to show you here. I did it at 9 seconds, but it didn't change the clock at all because the minimum is 9 seconds. So, just gotta test everything out and show it and do the old due diligence. You know what I'm talking about.
Round 1.
All right. Let's speed this up again. So what I wanted to test out next was spare time, that is to say adding time. So at the beginning of this next round, you're gonna look at the clock, and it'll say 90 seconds, but not for long, because I'm gonna add time. So you can do that at any time, and even if the clock is at like 1 second, then you get to add time. So the applications are probably something like if you're down in life, but the opponent's running the clock out, then there you go, right? Like you're not gonna die due to timer scam. This is his back forward 1, and it just puts them in a stasis. It's not, freezing isn't the right word. It just locks them in, and it's a set period of time. There's no, hit animation, nothing like that. Once they're in it, you cannot cancel into it either though, and it also takes one of your offensive stamina meters, as you see down there at the bottom left. So it's a weird move. You can't do 1-1, whatever it's called. Back forward 1 is the notation. So all we were thinking, and Biohazard told me the same thing. Maybe just as anti-air, right? You see them jump. It seems like it's a pretty good hitbox. I'm not really sure, but you saw there with the new gravity seed, and when I saw that, my mind was like, all right, let's do some dumb stuff. So I fast forwarded it again, and I'm gonna do a first kind of idea of timer scamming. Kind of silly. I don't know how practical it is. I've already kind of thought of cooler ideas. Yeah, but okay, stasis, put in the new gravity seed. Now there's 9 seconds left. And that seems cool. You see him trying to walk towards, but the sands are keeping him there. Baraka has really good movement, so I'm not sure that walking, like this is obviously just very easy CPU. But if it was a real person, you'd probably do something like back 2, the huge overhead to get forward, the command grab, which leaps very far. There you saw the start of the back 2. Yeah, there it is. There's probably better things to do, but I like that as kind of like the seed of interesting ideas. So I tried it again a little later. I mean, very similar idea, right? Back forward 1. Again, you can't confirm that. You have to do it. But then he snaps his fingers and time is gone, and I think that's pretty cool. Again, I'm sure there's better things to do. Like probably that, right? Like something that keeps them in hit stun longer. He also has that one gear move that gives him from the deep. Maybe use that. I don't know. You cannot use the timer scam in conjunction with other 2 or 3 slot gear moves. Only with 1 slot gear move. So you can't have that and also the one that cancels your normals, and also the one that goes back 4 seconds. You can't do those simultaneously. But still, very interesting ideas. Man, again, I'm really bummed that my footage didn't come out of the other stuff, because I took footage of all of his normals, the whole here's every button kind of whole breakdown, and none of that stuff came out, very unfortunately. But I'm really, really interested in Geras. He seems super cool. You know, big old grappler, right? It's definitely an archetype that I like. But even aside from that, cool little unique things. No idea to say on viability or anything like that. Who's good or who's not. The game is way too far away to even discuss that kind of stuff. And it may be that some of the options that I showed today or that I saw yesterday end up very different, right? Very, very difficult to say this far away from the actual launch date. But yeah, I love a lot of the ideas. A lot of the early cool groundwork is in there. And I mean, as far as now, if the game were to come out with this cast, you know, I'm definitely in there on Geras. That is for sure.